welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter and my co-host Russ Reese, the Vegas line reader. Russ, we're coming towards the end. It's week 18. This is out of the ordinary. We're usually done in 17, but one extra week of the season, Russ. It's been a really hot week. 26-10, the last 36. Absolutely on fire, Russ. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Ever since we said we're going to not pick every single game, we switched to these best bets. Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, that was brutal on me. I mean, I was getting worn out every week just looking into every single game. So once we switched over to these best bets, we're 26-10 late in the season here, dominating. And I told everyone last week we had an average week last week where we did nothing. And I knew we were just going to bounce right back. Ended up going 3-1, hit on Utah. Ended up, I was sweating that one out. They covered that spread. And then Cardinals, they covered. We finally got them to come right back. They're in that underdog role. And then Texans team total, I had that under. I sent out a play too. I was telling people on TikTok to take Rashad Penny 2 touchdowns. He ended up hitting that at 6-1. It was crazy. I couldn't believe he had those odds. He's been getting a ton of carries lately, and it was just like a money spot right there. But definitely feel good again this week. I mean, there's some games this week that are going to be crazy, guys. If you're betting, I mean, there's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to be playing. If people have any questions on the games, I could tell them what the line should be and where the discrepancy is in certain games. If anyone has any questions on that, so.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about last week as far as Alabama was going, and that was just all over written under pretty much the bottom line. I gave you all the stats with them with the semis. The good thing about Alabama is they dictate a lot of games based on how they need to win. So I think that was very important there. So that was an easy under the cash in on. This is kind of the matchup that we thought we were going to see, Georgia, Alabama. We'll get into it afterwards once we get into the NFL and everything. But overall, very good NFL week. Very happy with the results over. We both love the Cardinals, so that was also great as well. An outright dog winner. My man Russell's checking. He says, your screen is blank, buddy. The ghost of Chris. I mean, I'm telling you right now. I'm looking right now on Twitter. Okay, I'm looking right now. I see myself right now. Everything looks pretty good. Everything looks squared away. I mean, maybe I should go on YouTube.
It's funny. I was telling Chris before the show started, I'm like, you look a little fuzzy today, but
I don't know. I look fuzzy. I'm literally plugged in. Everything's looking good here. I mean, I have no idea. Let me see what it's looking like over here. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I'm in. I just had myself repeating myself over there. So I just had to check my phone real quick. Everything's good here, Russ. Thanks for looking out.
The ghost of Chris. It's all good.
Yeah, but my boy Mitch is checking it. Finally. So your screen's fine. I can see him. My boy Mitch.
That's all that matters.
That's all right, Russ. We're appreciating it. But I appreciate the lookout because everyone's got to see his face when we're making plays. So I totally get it.
Yeah, Chris is up in space tonight, dude.
No. I'm all over the place because I was telling Russ earlier. We're getting to the swing of things with the PGA Tour season. I'm huge in the PGA. I just posted my betting card for the tournament champions for the Century Tournament Champions. You can find it at Chris Ebom. I put my plays out there. We're sprinkling a little rise and fire, if you will. Super excited about that season. But hey, Russ, we got football here. Let's close out this season, and then we'll get into the wild card weekend, super wild card weekend. That's actually going to go into the Monday. So I'm really excited. So let's get this party started, Russ.
Yeah, I'll have you jump into the first game. You got the Colts at the Jaguars. The spread's at 15.5, and the over-under's at 44.
All right, so pretty much what's happening here. The Colts coming off that loss to the Raiders, 23-20. It's kind of something we saw before. We didn't talk about on the show, but Russ and I are in a little pick'em league. We talked about it, and we really like the Raiders there. Jags coming off a 10-50 loss to the Patriots. Absolutely embarrassing. The Colts scenario here pretty much is win or tie, they get in the playoffs. They can even tie at this point. So they just need to win and get in. I think that's important. The Colts are going to control this game with the running game, which we've seen all season around with Taylor. There's the second slowest team in NFL per play, so they're going to control this. They want to get out of Dodge, win this game. They don't need to get fancy, just need to win. Jags have been typically an under team, but the last 3 games have gone over the total, so I see some regression with that to become an under game here. Last time they played, it went under, and it was a total of 48. Now it's 44. Jags are 4-0 with the under in the last 4 games as a home underdog, and 5-0 is in the under in their last 5 at home versus a winning team. And the under is 4-0 for the Colts in their last 4 as a road favorite. Everything points towards this. I think the Jags just want to get out to the golf course and swing the clubs a little bit, end this season, just be done with it. They don't really care to score anything. This is it right here. I love the under 44.
Nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that too, because I think what was it last time? It was like 27-17 the last time they played, I think.
Yeah, something around there. I don't have the exact score on me right here, but it was a low-scoring game. It still went under regardless, and now it even dropped more. So I really do like the under here. The Colts are just trying to get this game. They know they're the better team at the end of the day. They're not going to need to have Wentz throw like crazy. I think he's still going to have a really good game. I think Taylor should be able to establish that run against this horrible defense. Kill the clock. They run slow anyway. I don't think the Jags are going to really score much against this defense anyway. I think under 44 is a slam dunk. I have no problem. And it's going to be an extremely low scoring game. Maybe it's like a 21-3 game or 21-7. There's not going to be many points, Russ. And they just need to win. That's all. Just need to win. And honestly, the NFL, if the Colts do lose this game and they get some craziness, there's a possibility where the Raiders and the Chargers game, they could literally kneel on the ball and tie, and they both get into the playoffs. Something insane. The NFL will have no part of that. So I think the Colts have to win this game for the sake of the NFL.
Yeah, it's very rare you see a team that actually needs a win and they're favored by 15.5 that loses. So I just do not see that happening. And you're on the right page definitely with the under, because Carson Wentz, when they do win all their games, I saw they had a crazy record. Whenever Jonathan Taylor gets a certain amount of rushes, they dominate. So you got to think they're just going to feed them the rock and try to get out of here with an easy win. And the defense will be jacked up after that upset loss last week. So definitely the Colts should be fired up for that game.
Yeah, being a favorite to lose outright, the defense is going to want to bounce back here, and this is a public perception that this is a perfect spot for them just to shut the doors on the Jags and get ready for the playoffs. And the under 44 is the way to go.
Definitely. Yeah. And I love when you look, that's what we've been doing all season. I look at those huge spreads. You don't take those spreads. You just look into the over under in those type of games. So
yeah, 15.5 is a lot of points, honestly. Do you cover that game?
I couldn't believe it when I saw that, just because they got
15.5 is a lot. But honestly, though, the Colts, all their wins, they all covered, which is absolutely not all of them, but a majority of them have all covered. So, I mean, do you think the Colts are going to win? Yeah, we do think the Colts are going to win, but 15.5 is a lot. I don't want to lay that number, but if I had to, I guess I would lay it just based on the perception of them winning games. And usually when they win games, they cover games, but 15.5, this is not going to be a sweat. It's going to be a boring, quick game. Colts just want to get out of Dodge, get ready for the playoffs, get the defense right, and get the little boost on the defense. This is the perfect boost game for them.
Definitely.
So I'm going to get into your game next. We got the Seahawks at the Cardinals. Cardinals are laying 7, the over under 48. Russ, where are we going here?
I got the Seahawks here.
Okay.
So we talked about this the past 3 weeks. We've been talking about the Cardinals back and forth. Kyler Murray, again, as a favorite, I just do not trust him. He does not cover these spreads as a favorite. And these guys have not looked good. I mean, they got the cover for me last week. I knew it would be close, but they're still not the same team that they were in the beginning of the season, killing team. So then I have Russell Wilson here, who's 28-16 in his career as an underdog. So definitely love that factor. And Penny, he's been killing it. I took him last week. I just talked about it with his touchdowns. He's been getting a ton of carries. The Seahawks love to rush the ball here at the end of the season. Just has the feeling of just a division game. They're going to be running the ball a lot. I could just see a close, low-scoring game here, like a 24-21 type of game. I just see a game-winning field goal by one of these teams. So definitely like the Seahawks here for sure.
Yeah. I'm, same old story. The lines are made on last week. That's what it really comes down to. An outright dog win that we absolutely loved on this show. Now they won that game against the Cowboys. The line is super imploded. I get it. The Seahawks haven't been the same Seahawks team before, but this is way too many points for the Seahawks here. And on top of that, Russ has always talked about the Cardinals being a bad favorite. The Cardinals are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 home games. And on top of that, they're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games as a favorite. 1-6 in their last favorite. So what Russ is preaching, I'm all about. I absolutely love this Cardinals play. I mean, well, it's actually the Seahawks, but the Cardinals game in general, give me those +7. I know some books have dropped it down to 6.5. So if you can get that 7 now, even better.
Yeah, I mean, I got to dig it up. I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago. I gave the stat of Kyler Murray as a favorite, and it was literally 30% against the spread, which was absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe it. But his underdog record's great as a favorite. He only dominates bad teams. So when when it's a competitive game, like a -6, -7 type of game here, these games are always close. Whenever he wins by a field goal because he just loves being that underdog. But we'll jump into your next game. We got the Steelers at the Ravens, -5.5, and the over-under is at 42.
All right. This is kind of a weird game. Not going to lie. I was looking at the board. It's kind of hard to find a game for week 18, but this one really stood out to me. The Steelers won 26-14 against the Browns. Ravens lost 19-20 to the Rams. A very good performance there. This is Big Ben's last game. I get it. He had his home game. He had his little fun, he was throwing touchdowns. He's like, oh my gosh, I scored. This is going to be the last one I score in Pittsburgh. I mean, they're going up against a 23rd ranked yard pass defense in the NFL. So Big Ben should be able to throw on these guys for his official last hurrah here. The Steelers defense is ranked 31st in rushing yards allowed. Ravens are 5th in rushing yards per game. So I think they're going to go back and forth. There's going to be a lot of ball movement, a lot of scoring. I get it. Both teams, they need the Colts to lose to make the playoffs. I'm not even considering this at all. I think there's a lot of motivation between both teams besides the playoffs here. Tyler Huntley is probably going to start this game. I don't see Jackson starting this game at all. His contract is ending after the season. He has played pretty well for the most part. He's covered for us against Green Bay. He's looked pretty good. I mean, I'm just, for what I see, I think teams would take a chance on him on a decent contract. His contract absolutely stinks this year. So he needs to perform well here just for himself alone, just to make ends meet, to get his contract going, get picked up by somebody. I don't know if he's going to be picked up by the Ravens or not. I'm not sure. This is Big Ben's last game. The pass defense is not that good. I think he's just going to have him go off in a bang. So Tomlinson's going to have him throwing left and right. Field goal kicking is not going to be an option this game. They just want Big Ben to score as much as possible. It's his last game ever. The over is 4-0 in the last following against the spread win, and 4-0 on the over as their last 4 as an underdog over here for the Steelers. So both ways, Steelers hit these overs, 8-0. Give me the over 42. I think there's going to be a lot more scoring than people think in this game, because I think a lot of people think this game's not going to matter because the Colts are already going to clinch at this point. But you got Big Ben here. They're going to want to play for him. They're all rallying for him last week when he was kneeling and everything. And Huntley is playing for a contract next year, and he's going to want to really perform really well. So give me the over 42, Russ.
Nice. Yeah, and I definitely like the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens should win this game, and I need the Ravens because we gave out the picks early in the season, Steelers under on their win total. So I'm glad that they're coming off that big emotional win last week, coming back on the road, and they already beat the Ravens. So I just don't see them sweeping the Ravens. I think the Ravens should get the win. So just telling everyone not to hedge the bet, I would stick with our guns on this pick and take the Steelers under. And we were money on our win total, so I ended up having
definitely
the Steelers under. I already cashed on the Bears under, team
Dolphins under
wins. Yeah, and then what was my other one? The Saints under on their wins. And then you had the Dolphins. You're going to cash that, right?
Yep.
You had under 9.5 wins, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then college football, we cashed. I remember I had Auburn and Northwestern's unders. And what was the college football you had?
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head, but I have to look back at it. But I know it's definitely.
Remember, I looked through. I saw you had the Cowboys win the division, so that was at plus money too. So
yeah, that was plus money for the Cowboys to win division. That's an automatic lock. Yeah, that was like plus 150, plus 160, give or take, I think. but we just knew that was going to happen. I mean, that was just easy plus money. So
yeah, we
I just
cashed
want to make
it on
sure that
all
people knew about
those
that.
preseason.
So
We did it last year. We did it this year. We
yeah,
dominated on those preseason
I
ones,
mean,
which I love. I think that they're the easiest bets that you can get out there is those win totals
yeah,
before the
and I mean, they're
season
not the
starts.
sexiest plays. They're not the 20 to ones, the
Hmm.
30 to ones, things like that. But you know what? They're juice on your side at the end of the day, and I feel like that is important. So always be sure to watch our preseason show because we have a
Hmm.
lot of good futures we put out there. And as Russ just talked about it, we cashed on a lot of them. And we'll make sure through our socials, through at Chris Ebom and at Vegas Limer, you make sure that where our show is going to be at, you're going to see it. So I'm very excited about the new season as well.
Yeah, if anyone wants to look back, they can just look up Tackle the Board. Just go to the preseason picks so no one thinks we're lying here.
Nah, no problem. Everything's documented, Russ. That's the beauty of YouTube, Twitter, everything else. Besides Twitter, when you type something out and it doesn't spell check everything, that's always annoying. But, besides that, everything's documented. Go to the show. Check out the picks. They're all there. They're all documented. There's no BS here.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the last NFL game, the big game, the Sunday night game. Chargers at the Raiders. Raiders are getting 3 points. The over-under us is 49.5. Where are you going here?
I got the Chargers here. So the Chargers are a team that I had locked into the playoffs before this season even began. So you're putting me in a great spot here as a small spread in a game facing a Raiders team that I don't like at all. I've been talking about this all season. So these two teams actually faced off earlier in the season, and we actually bet that game. We cashed on the Chargers, won easily. That game was actually, if you remember, it was in Los Angeles, and in that game, it was a night game. Yeah, and there was more Raiders fans in that game, so the crowd was going nuts. It was basically a road game for the Chargers at home. It's going to be the same thing here. I'm not worried that they're on the road. Yeah, they put up 28 points easily in that game, so I don't see them struggling at all in this game. I think they take care of business. I got the better quarterback, the better defense. I'll take the Chargers all day, only -3. I just feel like this is easy money here. Grab the Chargers, guys. Get this in.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The only concern that I have about the Chargers, if I do have a concern, is the run defense. I think Jacobs, as far as I know, Jacobs is playing, correct? So he's probable. So he's definitely playing. I see that he has like a rib injury, but he's definitely going to play. This is like a big opportunity to make the playoffs or not. We'll see how everything plays out. But I think this is for a playoff spot in general over here. But, before I get into that, my boy Mitch is checking. He always checks in with these. I always like these.
He's here today. All right.
Oh, no. He was backing me up. He said my screen was fine and I look great. So that's always exciting. But he said alt line on the Chargers, Russ. I'm going to leave it up to you. You're the one that's throwing this out here. Are we going to lay 6.5 or like 9.5?
I actually like this. I got to look into my margins here actually real quick. Let me check.
Yeah. Do you figure this out?
Hold on. Give me a second there, Mitch. Hold on. I'm pulling this up real quick. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're taking the Chargers here, Mitch. Take the -6.5. I'm not worried here. I like it. Vegas has been covering spreads. Chargers are due for a little double-digit win here. Yeah, sprinkle a little -9.5 there too, Mitch. David Carr might be forcing some things in that game too. Who knows at the end of the game?
Yeah, well, maybe there might be a pick six opportunity or something. I mean, if he gets, they're down early in the run, because the thing I'm worried about is the run defense for the Chargers, and I think Jacobs can definitely take advantage of it. But as my man Mitch goes, done and done. So everything is good.
We've been cashing every time we put out the Chargers. We've been cashing on these Chargers. So
no, absolutely. And a lot of times we've agreed on alt lines. They've been cashing big, and I know Mitch can attest to that because he's always on top of it. He watches the show. He's been cashing big with us, and we appreciate his support. So I'm
looking at something right here right now, Chris, that I've never seen before. What do you got for me here? All right,
break it down for me.
The Raiders are 9-7. All right, the points for differential, they got 339 points for, 407 against. You do not see a playoff team with that points for and points against. That I'd say usually you see like it should be like 339, like it'll be even, and teams barely get into the playoffs that shouldn't even be in it. You never see a minus like this point differential. This is absolutely crazy. This team is not making the playoffs. They're coming off winning 3 in a row too. I don't know, Mitch. I would just lay the lumber here. I'm starting to love the Chargers more and more here. I just
All
do
right,
not see them
so
losing.
I'm gonna look right now, real quick, since we're live and we're doing the show. Everything's
Hmm.
good. We only been on for like 19 minutes, so everyone's been getting good, quick info, which I always love because people want to
Hmm.
jump in and everything like that. Did you see what it was at 9.5? Because I think you might be able to get really juicy number with 9.5, and that's what I want to look at right now.
That's
Because I
true.
think alt lines are important, because like if you really think a team's going to kill them, and a lot of times as they do cover spread like 3, they're going to cover like over 7 points, So
Hmm.
I think it's something always good to look at. Like if
Oh,
you
this
think
when
they're
I gave out that Bengals one, that was a lay the lumber, but I'm not going to go crazy with lay the lumber here, but because I just feel so good that they're going to win this game, I don't want to get too cocky saying they're going to kill them. You know what I mean?
no, but Mitch is saying he saw plus 210. I see plus 210 as well for minus 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to be smart here. I'm going to tell you to sprinkle a little here, Mitch. All right. I'm not going to tell you to go huge like we did last time we took the Chargers. I would just probably bet bigger on the actual spread in this game for them to win this. I would
But hey,
keep
you
it.
know what? He's always
Yeah,
feeling a little froggy, so I can dig it. So if you want to sprinkle a little bit, plus 210, throw a couple bones. Not the end of the world,
exactly.
Because I think
Exactly.
honestly, if they're going to cover that kind of spread of 3, there might be a chance where they win by this game by
Yeah,
10.
if you look back at that old game, I got to check is what's with Waller. I mean, Waller probably played in that game last time they played.
Yeah, well, let's see because
Because
Waller's not
Waller
playing.
has,
Oh, he's
I don't even,
probable.
is he probable? Okay,
He's likely to return. He says so. You're going to get a Waller here. So I think the over's
yeah,
kind of a
he
good
hasn't
play,
done
honestly,
anything all
too.
season.
What?
He hasn't done much all season anyway. He hasn't. He's got 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I
Raiders
hear
are
you.
just
He's still a threat, though. But
everything. You got to think everything that's happened to the Raiders this year, and the Chargers are one of the most improved teams on the whole season. You think that they're going to miss the playoffs? I just do not see it here.
I don't see it either,
Yeah,
honestly. So, and I think
I
unable to do that, they're not going to win by 2 points, right?
like when
So,
people, yeah, when people do this mid-season, they're like, "Oh, there's no way this team's gonna lose." Like those teams lose mid-season, like that happens.
not
But when you
now.
got a game like this is for the playoffs. You got to know what team's making the playoffs. Like I was fading Vegas all season long, and the Chargers are a team I'm all over all season. So
Yeah, me
you're
too.
putting
I
me in
love the
this
Chargers all year.
situation.
We were
Yeah,
on them
that's.
with the Eagles. We had a lot of great spots with them this year.
Hmm.
They lost a couple games. We got value against the Eagles in Philadelphia, which was outrageous. But I mean, it happens. But it's going to be finally an exciting. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. This season's been kind of wonky with COVID and backups and things of that nature.
Hmm.
As long as the Colts don't lose that Jags game, this will be an interesting game.
Yeah, and just looking at that Bengals, like if anyone's looking at that Bengals Browns game, like I just feel like that's going to be like an under type of game.
Oh,
Like
geez. Yeah, of
the
course. Well,
Bengals, like
Mayfield's
yeah,
not even playing.
it's like a
He's getting his
preseason game.
labrum
So
surgery.
Burrow sitting right, and then you got
Yeah.
the Browns who don't even have Baker playing,
Well, he
and they're
stinks anyway, but he's
favored.
still not playing. I think
Yeah,
Keenum's going to play. He could sling it. Actually,
yeah, but
funny you
he's
brought
gonna.
that
What's he
up.
gonna
Funny
do?
you
He's
brought
gonna
that
put up
up.
like 17 to 20 at
Let
best.
me see
Like
what that line is real
yeah,
quick.
it's if you want to pick an over under, I would take that under all day. That those
Oh, wow.
teams are just
Cleveland's lane 6 with Keenum.
yeah, because Bengals are sitting all their players. But Case
Yeah,
Keenum,
I
he's
would lay the lumber with the Browns because I think once again you're falling to a scenario like Huntley. It's that
mhm,
kind of thing. These guys, these backups are auditioning for jobs, and they're going to play their best against these shitty guys and get these contracts because of it. And Keenum's one of those guys. Keenum's very serviceable, a
mhm.
great backup, a great backup. And honestly, he can kind of contend with Baker Mayfield. Like sad to say, but he can. I think lane 6 with the Browns there is a fantastic spot where everyone's going to sit. Keenum can throw it, and we've seen that before. So if you're feeling froggy, you want to leap, definitely the Browns -6. I think that's a good play.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help everyone out with these spreads, like knowing what teams are going to be sitting. So we got like the Cowboys game. We got that game at -7. The
Yeah,
Eagles, they're
that game.
sitting.
What are
Yeah,
we gonna do with that game, Russ? Because like I'm looking
Eagles are
at that.
sitting
There's
everyone.
so many.
Eagles,
Everyone's sitting everybody,
yeah,
right?
Eagles aren't playing anyone. So if you're betting that game, you got to take the Cowboys. You don't touch the Eagles. What that spreads on a typical game, it would have been -2.5. Now it's already up to -7, and they bumped this game up because they knew that the Eagles were just
It's
gonna.
on a
Well,
Saturday, right?
yeah, they bumped the game up because they know the Eagles are just giving this game away. They have nothing to play for here. So the Cowboys need a win because they could still move up a little bit in the standings. But
All right, my man Mitch is checking in once again. He said, "Any playoff future bets you like here?"
oh yeah, I gotta check that next week. Next week on the show, we can put something out because I haven't
Yeah,
looked into it.
because I didn't even look at it either because I got involved with golf, and then we had the national championship. And this week, I'll tell you what, Mitch. Next week, we're gonna do some playoff futures. I'm gonna look for some good value plays going into the wild card weekend. So
Yeah, this is because it's a crazy playoffs this year. It's
yeah,
you don't know what's going on with Derrick Henry coming back, but I'm not getting suckered into some of these teams like the Cardinals and Patriots and the Bucks. I
yeah,
mean, I can't go against Brady, but they're like
they're
I
dismantled at this point.
yeah, the Antonio Brown, no Godwin. You just don't see a team missing
It's
two
tough.
solid.
I personally don't see a spot there. Maybe we might be able to find some good hedge points if a team gets out of the first round. I'm going to look into that as well. Thank you, Mitch, for bringing that up because um, I'm going to look into it. I think if you can get a team that can get out of the first round and gives great hedge ability afterwards, I think that's a great spot. But hey, let's step away from the NFL right now. We got the national championship game, Bama, Georgia, SEC. Georgia is laying 3. The over-under is 52, Russ. National championship. They already played a couple weeks ago in the SEC. Since I'm talking about it right now, I mean,
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm going to go right ahead here. So Alabama, if you've been living under a rock for the most part, they dominated Georgia in SEC game. They're both coming off very dominant performances, as you talked about last week. This was no surprise to
What
you.
did I talk about last week?
What did you talk about last week? You talked about Alabama dominating. You talked about Georgia dominating.
My
We're
Georgia
just going to see
squad
this matchup once
stomping
again.
on those Wolverines, dude. You remember?
Well, all right. So I drank some of the Kool-Aid. I told you I was drinking some of the Kool-Aid. All right. So
I know. I couldn't believe because I just looking online, everybody was all over Michigan. I was just like, it got worse and worse as the week got on. I was just like, holy shit, everyone's on Michigan right
yeah.
now.
So I learned a couple things about Georgia in that spot. Stetson was really good that game. And Michigan's defense is no slouch. Okay. I don't care what the score was at the end of the game. The QB played really well. All right. He played fantastic. He had that horrible game against Bama, and then he went against another really good defense in Michigan. I don't care if they're an SEC defense, they're a Big Ten defense, but they played really well all year round. That defense was stout. He played really well. He had a great bounce back game. 313 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. I love Brock Bowers, the freshman tight end. He's been fantastic this year. He's going to be a future first rounder. If he wasn't a freshman, he would go in the first round. He has 12 TDs this year. He's going to get in the end zone. I guarantee you, if you want to take a touchdown prop, take Bowers to score a touchdown this game because he will score a touchdown. So lock that up. I don't even know what it is. You can look it up. I'm not sure what it is. I would look right now, but I'm just rambling. So I really like Brock Bowers to score a touchdown national championship game. James Cook, the running back, the senior, had a fantastic game out of the backfield last game, receiving out of his mind. The over-under is one of the lowest for Alabama this year. Besides the last game they won against Georgia here. Brian Robinson for Alabama was fantastic last week. He just ran for 204 yards. He was in the top 3 most rushing yards in the CFP history. I'll be curious how he fares this week because when they played Georgia, he didn't have a good game because Bryce Young just went haywire with his passing. But that's the beauty of Alabama. They can beat you with the run game, with the pass game. There's so many weapons. I think Robinson actually has a way better game this go around because they have to defend Young in his passing game. That's going to leave a lot of running to him. He's hungry. He's an Alabama kid. He's been dreaming of this day his entire life. I think they're going to feed him the rock. I think he's going to do well against this run defense, shockingly, because Georgia's run defense is fantastic. As far as everything else goes, even though Alabama didn't rely on the run game, they still had 3 players that averaged over 10 yards a catch last week against Cincy. It's once again knowing your opponent. That's very important here. They knew they were more physical, bigger than the other teams. So they could run the ball. I mean, Saban's not an idiot. He's been around. He's been winning national championships. I think he's won 7 out of his last 15 years. It's like something absurd. I mean, he knows what he's doing. If he has a smaller team, he's going to run the ball. If he's going up a big powerhouse, he's going to throw the ball. But I think you have to respect Bryce Young here, throwing the rock here. Jameson Williams has been a key for the pass game. I assume he's going to have another big game as well. Will Anderson at linebacker. I'm just throwing this out in general, just for the people. Will Anderson is an absolute stud. 17 and a half sacks off the corner linebacker. Absolutely incredible. But Russ, at the end of the day, I absolutely love the over 52 in this game. The over, once again, Alabama, the beauty of Alabama is they show so many things in the semifinals and the championships because they've been playing them so much. It's like a broken record. All right. The semifinals, they play down to their competition. They go low. The championship, they have to score a lot more. So they have to win this game. There's urgency. The over is 4-0 for Alabama in their last 5 bowl championships, and they're 5-1-1 in the over in their last 7 Monday games. Take it for what it's worth. It's probably a championship game that's not part of the CFP. That's pretty much what that means. There's so much over involved in this. If Georgia wants to win this game, they're going to have to score with Bama. Bama's going to get their points no matter what. I honestly like Bama. I love them as a dog. I don't ever like to sleep on them. I've been bitten by that before. If you want to sprinkle the money line with Bama, I have no problem with that. But if you want a no sweat bet, which I'm all about, rocking chair bet, over 52, Russ.
All right, that's what I like to hear. I thought you were saying no sweat bet. I was waiting for me to put my pick in here with Georgia. All right, dude. We ain't taking Alabama here. All right, Alabama is getting some. I don't know what the hell they've done this year, dude. All right, just because they beat Georgia last game, they put up the 41 points. So I'm looking at Georgia's last couple games before that Alabama game, and what did they have? They had bunch of cupcakes, dude. 4 straight weeks: Missouri, Tennessee, Charleston Southern, and Georgia Tech. You play Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech, dude. You're playing terrible competition. Then you come into that game against Alabama. They must have came out flat and gave up a bunch of points. That's not going to happen. When Georgia is focused, they're going to be focused this game. So what happened to Alabama before they played Georgia that game? They ended up losing by 2 points to Auburn without Bo Nix. It was an absolute ugly game for Bama. So it was a bounce back game for Bama in that game. So I feel like they played their best game that they could against Georgia. And I do not see this happening in this game. Georgia's not going to give up this shot here. Giving up, 9.64 points per game, Georgia? You don't see a team like this ever in a championship giving up that less of points. Like, I think that this defense is going to come to play. And I mean, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum here. I mean, we got the 2 cream of the crop teams of the year. I mean, we knew this was going to happen 8 weeks ago. But I don't know. I just don't have that all season. I always love Bama. I put bets in all the time for them, but I just don't have that magic feeling that they have it this year, that they're going to win it all. And it's not easy to win. We talk about this back-to-back seasons.
Twice,
winning is not easy. Yeah. And Georgia, Georgia squandered the opportunity last time they could have beat Bama and didn't do it. So I just feel like this is the team with the best defense they've ever had. I just feel like I always go with the better defense too when it comes to a championship or Super Bowl, things like that. So give me Georgia here. I think this number's going up to 3 too. It's
up to 3. Yes, it's up to 3.
They're giving people value on Bama. They're kind of suckering people in, I think. Because I think a -3 number here is pretty solid for Georgia here.
Yeah, I mean, so I get what you're saying. It's tough to beat a good team like Georgia twice. I get that, but this Bama team's been good, man. It's been really hard. I mean, they can score both different ways.
Telling you though, if you look at this schedule, dude, they are not as good as that. They won by 2 to Florida this year. They won by.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. Bama has not been a team that has not been good all year round.
LSU by 6. They beat Arkansas by 7. This is not.
Believe you me. No, I totally agree with you. This isn't your typical Bama team, but I think things are clicking the right way towards the end. I'm all about the over. I think you're going to have to score points this way no matter what. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game by any means necessary because Bama's going to get their points. Stetson, I think, is going to play a lot better this game than last game. Throwing those 2 picks, he looked flustered, and he ended up getting a lot of BS yards because they were getting killed. There's gonna be a lot of points here. So I think, but I don't think the line could be any higher than this because I think there's too much liability on the under because of these defenses. So I think this is as high as you can make this line. I think they're gonna get equal action with the under and the over. The over's the play. And whether you like Bama or you like Georgia, this is the spot. Over all day. You're gonna have to score to win this game. This is not gonna be a 10-3 game. This is not gonna be a 20-10 game. It's just not gonna be. There's too much firepower on both ends. I mean, like I talked about, Bowers is a great tight end. He's gonna score. Like it's just gonna happen. So I like the over personally. That's where I'm at. Georgia has been fantastic on defense. I get it, but you're gonna have to score if you want to win this game. Bottom line.
I know. I honestly, we're just opposite on both because I just feel like this could be an under type of game for some reason.
I just don't see it as an under. I simply just don't. I mean, there's too much firepower. That's what I'm
saying. We could go back and forth here all day because we're literally. This has never happens. We're usually opposite on the over under and on the game. So
completely. I mean, I get it because you know what, Georgia, they're so good, and I totally get they're good. But Stetson's been facing teams that he's been beating the shit out of left and right, and once he got smacked in the mouth with Alabama facing a really good team, he had a really hard time. And he got some garbage yards because of it. But he showed me a lot in that Michigan game because I think Michigan is very good. And I think people are poo-pooing Michigan after getting smacked in the mouth by Georgia. And I think that's incorrect. I think Michigan had a fantastic year. And I will be the first to tell you, I never thought in my wildest dreams that Michigan was going to be good this year. But guess what? They came out and played. The defensive coordinator was fantastic for him. He should get a coaching job somewhere. That's how good that defense was. But I've made this mistake before. And on top of that, the Georgia game, I love Georgia when they played that national championship against Jalen Hurts. I bet the mortgage, bet everything else. That was Georgia's game to win easily, win outright easily. Then you throw in a wrench like Tua, and no one has any footage on this guy, and he just starts throwing the ball, and no one has no idea what this guy does, and they win because of that. And now I feel like that was Georgia's best chance to win that national championship. That right there should have been that national championship. The problem was Tua was sitting in Saban's back pocket, and nobody saw it coming. And Saban's always got crazy shit like that in his back pocket, and he doesn't care about pulling that trigger. He'll take people. I mean, he's not going to take out Bryce Young, obviously, because he's thrown for almost 50 touchdowns and 2 picks. So he's going to stay around. But besides other positions, Saban's very smart. He's very calculated. And as a dog, he's even said he likes being the underdog. And I think that's extremely scary to go up against when you're going against a Saban dog team, which you never see. So I'm sticking with Bama. I love the over more. Don't get me wrong. I think there's points across the board left and right. But if I had to take a side, I would take Bama.
True.
So that'll do it, guys. That is the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you for the viewership, liking, subscribing, all that stuff for us. The football season has come to an end as far as regular season go. College football is going to be done after this show. We're done the season. We're going to get into wild card weekend, maybe some future bets as well, which Mitch brought up, which I thought was fantastic. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Ebom. I just posted my PGA card for the week. I'll be doing a lot of stuff with the PGA. Once football season ends, I got big plans for the PGA season and other stuff moving forward with Tackle the Board as well with Russ. But Russ, great season overall. Am I right?
Definitely. Yeah. If we backtrack the whole record, we've been dominating on the season and appreciate it, guys. Everyone that's liked and commented throughout the season with any questions, we're we love answering the questions that you guys have, throwing a little wrench in there. But definitely like, subscribe to our YouTube page because we're just going to keep doing this every single year, giving out winners. Next week, we're definitely going to give our playoff picks who we like for each game. It's not going to be best bet kind of thing. We're going to give you the picks that we feel good about. And like you said, with Mitch sent a message there, we'll pick our futures for Super Bowls too as well. So we'll get into that.
No, definitely. I think that's important because, if you think a dog's going to win the first week and we can get some good action for them for the rest of the season where we can hedge, I'm going to look into that. I think that was really smart. Thanks for checking in with that, Mitch. But without further ado, we're going to rise and fire, and we're going to tackle that board, Russ. Let's go.